Welcome back. My name is Dr. Carl Baird, and today I'll be showing you the top 10 glute exercises for knee pain. So if you're somebody that's been dealing with chronic knee pain or arthritis, building strength in your glutes or your hip muscles is one of the best things you can do for your pain. And the reason for that is a lot of movement that happens down at the knee is controlled by your muscles at the hip. And so if you have weakness at the hip, which is pretty common in our society because we spend so much time sitting that we don't use our glutes and our hamstrings as much as we should, you're going to have altered movement at the knee, which over time is going to lead to more impact at the knee and cause this pain and arthritis. So one of the best things you can do is work on building strength in your glutes. And these variations that I'll show you today are both safe, meaning they won't put a lot of impact on your knee, so you won't re-aggravate that pain, and very effective at targeting your glutes. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we want to do when we're strengthening our glutes for less knee pain is be sure that we're able to activate or turn on our glutes. This is actually pretty difficult for some people who are experiencing knee pain or just hip weakness in general. And so the exercise I like to do to test this, and also the exercise to fix it, is called the glute squeeze and release, where we're just going to lay on our back, our feet extended out, and from there we're going to try to contract both glutes. So that's squeezing the glutes together, and so you'll see my hips will raise up off the floor a little bit. And now from there, what we want to do, I want to keep the right side contracted and see if I'm able to just relax the left. So you'll see kind of my left front hip will drop, my right still contracted, and then from there, relax the right. And then let's just do the same thing on the other side. So again, I'm squeezing both. If I tap the glute muscle, you can feel it's nice and firm and contracted. And now we're going to do the opposite, where I'm going to relax the right first, keeping the left contracted, and then relax the left. And so if you have trouble doing this, it's totally normal. A lot of the clients, when I start working with them, that's very hard to do. The key is just to keep at it. Try to get that mind-muscle connection back. Perform the reps even if the muscles aren't contracting the way you want to. And soon enough, you'll get that connection back and you'll be able to do that exercise. The best glute exercise to help with your knee pain is the glute bridge. I love this exercise because not only is it very effective at strengthening your glutes, but it's also very safe. It doesn't put a lot of impact on your knees, so it's safe to do without re-aggravating that knee pain. To perform, you're just on your back with your feet flat on the ground, knees bent, arms at about 45, and then all you're going to do is press through your feet to get those hips up. I like to do a little squeeze at the top, make sure I get that full hip extension and really feel it in my glutes, and come back down. The only thing you want to watch out for here is that your feet aren't too far out. What that'll do, you'll feel it more in the hamstrings, which is not what we're going for. Or if they are too close to you, you'll feel it more in your quads. So you want to find that nice middle position, hands out at 45, press up, and back down. That's the glute bridge. Another great glute exercise for knee pain is the glute raise. A lot of times I use this exercise to substitute for the glute bridge if my patient is having a hard time maybe getting into the glute bridge position, getting all the way to the ground, or they can't bend their knees enough. Maybe they've had a surgery that limits that range of motion. The glute raise is a great substitution to target the glutes if they can get into the quadruped position. So to perform, you're just on your hands and your knees. And from there, we're just going to start by lifting our left leg off the ground. Again, you want to keep that bend in your knee, and you want to feel the tension in the glutes. Now, the trick here is you don't want to raise so high that you're rotating at your lower back. You really want this move to just keep the movement in the hips, just like that. The next exercise I'll show you is called the banded glute bridge. So once you've mastered the glute bridge or you feel like it's a little bit too easy, this banded variation is a great way to add resistance so that you can continue to get stronger and continue to improve for less knee pain. So to perform, you're going to need one of these red rubber bands, and all you're going to do is twist one arm. So I made a figure 8 with the band. I'm going to set it on the ground, and then I'm going to grab it right in the middle of those two circles. So now I've got 2 circles here. I'm going to put it on my feet, pull it up over my knees. Try to keep the feet about hip width apart. When you have the band, it has a tendency to pull them together. And then from there, I'm going to do the same glute bridge that we did before, only this band is going to be adding a little bit resistance. So I'm just going to press through my feet, raise those hips up, and back down. Another variation of the bridge exercise that really targets your glutes is called the hip thrust exercise. And so to perform this, we're going to need a bench or a box, something that you can lean your back on. And once you've found that, you're just going to line the box up with your mid back, put your feet flat on the ground like you were doing the glute bridge with these bent knees. And from there, I'm going to press through my feet and bring those hips straight up. Bring them back down, press again. So the hardest thing about this exercise is relaxing the upper body. I should really be hinging right at this mid back. I shouldn't be having a lot of weight on my elbows like that. We want it all to be in this lower body. And again, at the top, you're really feeling it in your glutes. So there you have it. That's the hip thrust. If you had a hard time with the glute squeeze and release exercise that I showed you earlier, this exercise, the step down with the hinge, is a great way to activate and turn on your glutes because there's no way for your glutes to get out of it. It really targets and isolates them. To perform, you're going to need a step up of some sort. So I'm going to use 2 yoga blocks, but any sort of step will do. And what you want to do, stand at the top. From here, I want a slight hinge in my hips, which means I'm sending my hips back, keeping a nice straight spine, pulling my other toe up, and from there, I'm just going to step down. Again, slow and controlled, and I'm just going to tap at the bottom. So I'm not coming all the way down. I'm tapping, and if you're doing this one right, you'll really feel the burn in that glute. So just so you can see it on the other side, I'm standing up, I'm hinging, nice straight spine, dropping down, and again, this really isolates your glute right there. Nice work. One of the more common contributors to chronic knee pain and arthritis is imbalances side to side. So if you've had an injury or a surgery or just having a dominant side, what happens is a lot of times your stronger side will take over, and that'll create an imbalance, which over time leads to more impact at our knees and causes pain and arthritis. So what we want to do to correct that is move to single leg variations. And so this is where I'll introduce the single leg glute bridge, very similar to the glute bridge that we've done. Only this time, when I'm in the right position, I'm going to lift one leg up. So you can, I'll just straighten it for the purpose of this video, but really you just have to lift it up off the ground. And then from there, you're pressing through the one leg, feeling it in your glutes. Switch so you can see the other side. Left side, right leg up, press through that left foot to get your hips up and get that full extension and back down. Just like there's a single leg variation for the glute bridge, there's also a single leg variation of the hip thrust, which is another challenging glute exercise for knee pain. So to perform, you're going to need the same equipment as the hip thrust, a box or a bench, and same idea. You're just going to lean your back up against that box. And again, now you're pressing up, but just with one leg. So I'll do my left leg. You can, this is exaggerated, but you lift your right leg up, press through that left leg, get the hips into the full extension so my body's in a nice straight line at the top. Ideally, you want your knee bent at 90. So I was a little close on that one, so it'd be okay if I brought it out just a little bit. And back up. Nice work. The squat is another great glute exercise for less knee pain. Now this is more of a full body exercise, but it does target your glutes and your hamstrings with also a lot of other benefits, including improving movement patterns and improving mobility at your hips and ankles, that it's one of my favorite glute exercises for knee pain. To perform, all you're gonna do is find your glute stance, which I have in another video, which I'll link below. And then from there, again, you unlock the hips, send the hips down, come back up. And so as you start to feel strong and confident in this movement, adding any sort of weight, whether it's onto your shoulders or holding in front of you, is going to help you build even more glute strength for less knee pain. The kettlebell deadlift is another full body strengthening exercise that really targets your glutes and your hamstrings for less knee pain, which is why I love to include it in any program for knee pain. I like the kettlebell variation of the deadlift because it's a little easier to learn this movement, a little safer to perform. But if you feel comfortable, you can also do it on a barbell. So to perform with the kettlebell, you're going to place your feet on the outside of the kettlebell, so you're not standing too far back. You're going to send your hips back, then bring your hips down to get to the weight. Now, before you lift, you can do a slight raise of the hips. That's going to create that tension in your hamstrings and your glutes that you're looking for. And from there, press through the floor to stand up. And same thing on the way down. I'm hinging, hips back, straight spine, and bending the knees to get the weight to the ground. So that is the kettlebell deadlift. So as you can see, there are a lot of different glute exercises you can use to help treat your knee pain. What I would recommend is that you pick maybe 2 or 3 from this list at the level you're at, and then slowly work your way up. So if you're starting with the glute bridge, build confidence in that glute bridge, then move to the banded glute bridge, then move to the hip thrust, then move to the single leg bridge. Instead of trying to overwhelm yourself by doing all of these at the same time, you might overdo it. So pick 2 or 3, work your way up, build confidence in that movement, and pretty soon you'll notice your knee pain getting less and less. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hey guys, it's Dr. Carl Baird here, and I wanted to thank you for watching our previous video and supporting our channel. Now, if you're somebody who's looking to build strength to solve joint pain, keep active, and maintain your lifestyle as you get older, be sure to subscribe to our channel to watch all of our new videos. You won't find it anywhere else.